And a good Sunday to you. Welcome to closing day of this thoroughbred season here at Lone Star Park. We'll be back on the 5th of September with the Fall Meeting of Champions featuring American Quarter Horses. But with Rodney Nelson, I'm Jim Byers. One more day of thoroughbred racing. We're fast on the main track. We're good on the turf course. 4 turf races today, including our annual end-of-the-meet 2-year-old turf races, which are always fun. They're not easy to handicap, but they're always fun. The weather right now is great. Let's hope it stays that way. It's a little muggy, but cool for the season. And hopefully it'll stay dry and we'll get everything in. We've got 9 races to tell you about. First off, end of the meet sale in the gift shop, the first floor. 20% off many of the items while supplies last.
Right. Be sure to check out the sale down at the gift shop. They got some great items down there, a lot of logoed items with Lone Star Park. Show everyone that you see that you were out at the racetrack this year with the logo on there. Some good-looking shirts, too. There's some jewelry, some silver stuff, I believe, in there. Something for everybody, right? Isn't that what they say? So
exactly.
Check out the gift shop for sure.
And there's a carryover in the 9th race super high five of $13,348. Because this is closing day and that wager has a carryover provision, the whole net pool in that 9th race on the super high five has to be paid out. That's the same for the pick 5 as well. There will be no carryovers after today. Let's get right on to it. We got a lot to cover. First race, 4.5 furlongs on the dirt. Not our first one of these. Some of these horses show a previous 4.5 furlong, what I like to call super sprints, earlier in the meet. But you could be in for $8,000, or you could have started for $6,250 or less during the current race meet. Scratch the morning line favorite, number 7, Love to Win.
So I'm going to tell you, the late round of scratches that I got really cost me some picks here. So
it cost Rick some picks too. I was trying to beat Love to Win in the first place.
But the good thing is that now without these horses that have scratched in this late batch, it made my top picks even
stronger.
Exactly.
I like Grapnel more now than I did before Love to Win was in there. Yeah.
So Grapnel, I mean, what can you not like about this horse in this spot, right? I mean, last time out, this horse was a winner, won by a length and a quarter. Has won twice out here at the meet so far. Last time this horse was in for the $10,000 tag, and like I said, picked up the win there. The starter race that was 2 back, I mean, the first two finishes of that one went on to win their next race.
Yeah.
So pretty tough race there. Grapnel was just 4th in that race. This horse can show some speed. Has gone this 4.5 one time and won it.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling Grapnel's going to get out there and run, and hopefully lead them gate to wire. Number 3, Super Brady. That's going to be my second choice now. I mean, this horse was a winner last time out. Had some on-the-board finishes before that. This horse has had a decent meet out here, earned a little money to win a 3rd and a 4th, so probably enough to get by and get on down the road. And then I got number 6, Play Rule. This is a horse we've seen out here a ton, 17 times at Lone Star Park. Seen him in the fall for the quarter horse meet, out here during the thoroughbred meet. And he does have 4 wins out here. I think this spot is going to be a little tough for Play Rule, but the distance at 4.5 is got to be all right for this guy. I think Play Rule could get up there, and I got to give him a shout-out for running all those times out here, all over the place.
Yeah.
Gillespie here, everywhere.
Steve Rubion has a couple in there, and they are both very fast. Obviously, 4.5 furlongs, you're going to see a ton of early speed merchants in here. You reminded me of an old horse named Run, Run, Run. And when I was a newcomer to the races a long time ago, there was an older man rooting the horse on by just yelling over and over again, Run, Run, Run. It was hilarious. You also made me think of The Wiz when you said move on down the road. Of course, they had ease on down the road. So now that'll be in my head for a while. I like Grapnel, too. I mean, he's sharp, he's fast, he can handle these short distances. One long shot I might look for is Straight Luck. This horse was off from September to January, came back, had a disastrous race against Calbreds out at Santa Anita in January, came to Texas, didn't run real well against $15,000 condition claimers at Houston, but used to be pretty fast. Ends up in the Danny Pish stable, has good works coming in. Pish horses don't usually work all that fast, but I gave him the nod for second. On to race 2. These are all older fillies and mares that drew into this race. 5.5 furlongs, $20,000 claimers, non-winners of a race this year or non-winners of 4 lifetime. 3 scratches. The 4, Our Pastor, is out. Scratch 8, Ballygurly, and 9, Custom Sunshine.
All right, Golly Holly, the 6. You got to be on this horse, I think. Was a winner last time out. That was a pretty big allowance race out here. I was in here for the tag today. You can see this horse has had a pretty good meet out here as well. I mean, 2 wins and a 6th-place finish sandwiched in between, but that 6 came on the turf, so, this horse does have a couple turfs back at Sam Houston, but maybe just didn't like our grass out there that day. But the other 2 races out here, fantastic, being able to pick up the win. Give me Golly Holly on top. 10, Regal Humor, second choice. I mean, this horse has been moving in the right direction. There's no doubt about it. Picked up a win 3 starts back at Sam Houston. The second after that, also down south. Most recent race, crossed the finish line second. Ended up being placed first in that race, so got some win money for it. But we'll see how Regal Runner runs. I mean, those last 3 races, I think this horse definitely can stay up here and can compete. And then I got number 1, Cajun Ninja, as my third choice. This horse was up close in a couple races. 2 of the last 3 at least. Last time out, ran a 4th in that one. But, it was a decent field there. This horse has been running up against a couple next out winners. So we'll see if Cajun Ninja can't get up there for a minor piece of the pie.
Last year here, Cajun Ninja was red hot. Absolutely red hot. Reeled off 3 wins. One of those he was disqualified from. He hasn't been as good this year, but he certainly has, or she has, some past ability. I'm very much the same. I threw Accelerate Judy in there, who's coming off a string of turf races. Last time Accelerate Judy did race on the main track, she was a winner in and off the turfer at Houston. But I'm with you on Golly Holly. I mean, her last 3 dirt races are wins. She was landed in a really tough Texas-bred turf sprint field 2 races back, and made up some ground, but ran 6th. So she's clearly the one to beat here. Okay, race 3, Colts and Geldings that are 2 years of age. We're going to have the filly version of this race in a little bit. These are maidens. They've never been 2 turns, and they've never been on the turf. 7.5 furlongs. This is kind of an annual tradition. It's a fun race. I see you're trying to beat the favorite, which, let's face it. I mean, the favorites had 2, Awesome Name has had 2 chances. Last time, 2-1. Ran into Love You Lots and ran 3rd. But not a bad race to try to beat a favorite, only because you just never know how these runners that have, a lot of them are bred to sprint. Not all of them, but some of them. And we start so many horses here sprinting as 2-year-olds. Boy, the ones that take to 2 turns and turf can be harder to decipher.
Yeah, like I said, I'm going to try to beat Awesome Name. I guess that's the favorite here, 6-5 on the morning line. Does have the best name all year. I've seen this horse a couple times. I do like this one. But I went with number 4, Saving Money. I love horses that are making their second career start. This one's one of them. Last time out, ran 2nd in that race. Was beaten by 9, but that was a pretty impressive win by the winner. Stretch.
The winner, he's really good.
It was nice. So, I mean, being the best of the rest in that field, I mean, it was a field of 10, so, beat 8 other horses. I think Saving Money, making this second career start, can have a good run here today. I did take Awesome Name 2nd. Does have that 2 races of experience, but, I mean, all these horses are going to try the grass for the first time, so Awesome Name, was up there for 3rd last time out. Maybe changing it up a little bit, going to the grass. He improves.
Yeah, he might like to stretch out. Yeah. He hasn't been a real effective sprinter yet because he doesn't have a lot of speed, and he's just kind of run evenly.
Just anecdotally, is that what I want to say?
Anecdotally, yeah.
You keep up with the breeding much more than I do.
Well,
but a few years ago, I was looking at, when the TTA sale happened, I was looking through the sales book. It's like, all right, if I was going to buy a horse, who would it be? And I landed on one. It was by Hard Spun. Yeah. And Hard Spun became one of my favorite sires after that. Like, I followed this horse, was a winner at first asking. Yeah. And I noticed that, I don't know if the stats back it up or not, but Hard Spun babies on the grass seem to run well.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's, like I said, I don't know if the numbers reflect that, but for me personally, it's what seems to be what I find. So Awesome Name, by Hard Spun, that's good as well. And then I got number 2, Nucleus, as my third choice. All the horse could do is go up from last time. Was beaten by 12, so hopefully he can close that margin of defeat there. I mean, ran in that same race as Stretch, same one as Saving Money, my top choice. So Nucleus should be able to run as well.
Stuart Elliott has been a long time. Steve Elliott was a character in a TV show, I think. Stuart Elliott's been Asmussen's go-to rider for a long time until his sons became good riders, and now Eric here seems like he tends to get the better Asmussens. But in this race, Awesome Name's a heavy favorite. Elliott's been riding him previously. I'm going with him. You mentioned Hard Spun. He was a very fast horse. He was mainly a dirt horse as a runner, but he was very, very good. But his sire, Danzig, who's by Northern Dancer, Northern Dancer sired a ton of good turf horses way back in the day. Danzig only ran 3 times. His career was abbreviated, but he was a great turf sire in the 80s especially and into the 90s. So there's some pedigree there for the turf. As far as Saving Money goes, I like to watch him, see how his career goes, because he's one of the first Yopons we've seen. Yopon was a Steve Asmussen, really, really nice sprinter who won 6 of 8 and was best remembered for being savaged, bitten by Firenze Fire in a stakes race at Saratoga on live TV back in 2021. So he'll be fun to watch, too. Plus, Guitar Man, if you're an oldster like myself, and I don't feel old, just the clock is ticking. Guitar Man was a song by Bread back in the early 70s, and we're going to hear that today at some point. Good old tune by David Gates and Bread, before your time.
Yeah, I don't know about Bread.
Yeah. They were a soft, easy listening type pop group in the early 70s. David Gates was quite talented. On to the 4th. 6 furlongs. Boy, if you think that's the end of my old person stories, I got another one coming up. So I better be brief on the commentary. Maiden claiming 10,000. 6 furlongs in the 4th. Scratch the 5. Stasis.
Yeah, it looks like we're both on the same horse. Number 9, Fine Tuned. This horse had a solid 3rd last time out. Was running for the $20,000 tag. 2 out of the last 3. One of them in between was for $30,000. I mean, the horse was beaten in all those races, but wasn't embarrassed in one of them or a couple of them. But those were a little bit tougher. Oaklawn, those are tougher races up there. This horse was at Indiana Grand last time out, or Horseshoe, Indiana. It'll be the first time this horse tries the course down here at Lone Star Park, but like I said, dropping in class, I like that move. I think Fine Tune can get the job done. Number 8, 6 Iron. That's my second choice. I think we've seen this horse scratch a couple times this year when I picked him.
Well, I also picked him last time, and he really didn't get out of 3rd the whole time.
Right.
3rd place, that is. But, yeah, I mean, 6 Irons run a couple of pretty, at least, consistent races, which that's not bad at this level.
I like consistency. You know that. And for some reason, I don't know why that name just sticks in my mind all year long. I've been looking at 6 Iron, it seems like. 3rd in both those races, so hopefully he can get up and hit the board again. And then I got number 1, Hoosier Strappa, as my 3rd choice here. 12-1 on the line here. Should get some pretty good odds on him. If you look at the first 3 races at Santa Anita, I mean, this horse finished 3rd in all 3 of them.
Yeah.
A 4th last time out right here at Lone Star, but was in for the $20,000 tag that day. Had a little bit of trouble in that race as well. That's indicated in the program. So dropping down to $10,000 now. Claiming price, we'll see what this horse has. I got it 9, 8, and 1 in race 4.
Stuart Elliott had the riding assignment on that Hoser Satrapa last time in his first start off races in Southern California. Elliott, though, is riding Perp Walk for Asmussen in this race. Perp Walk might be one to keep an eye on. I've got him 3rd here. I mean, I'm on Fine Tuned. Feather Lane puts blinkers on. Capalucci claimed the horse last time. He wins almost 50% first off the claim. Feather Lane has blown a few chances, but he's a big contender in here. And Fine Tuned, I mean, he's been a pretty good money burner in some of his races, but at least he's been bet on. At least they've thought he could win, and he's going to find his field one of these days. Perp Walk is coming off an Oaklawn campaign. He only raced once this year at Oaklawn, but be careful of those Oaklawn horses. We had one yesterday that I picked that was a long shot that hadn't run here this meet, but had run at the end of Oaklawn and shown a little something. Those horses have had a little freshening. They were getting used to the tougher competition, and you got to keep an eye on them. Okay, 5th race. Here's the filly division. Okay, here's where I'm going to geek out on an old horse here, so be prepared for that. And if you go back in the sport as long as I do, you might like this story. The rest of you will glaze over, but just give me a second. First, let's get your thoughts on this 7.5 furlong maiden turf race for 2-year-old fillies.
I'm taking the horse on the outside, Ritza Fina. 7-2 on the morning line. If you look, I mean, this horse has had some nice workouts. All 4 of them that I have listed in the program, pretty decent.
Yeah, and there's some before that in the forum that are really good, too.
So I imagine this horse will be ready to go. And Jade Gilner, I like the 2-year-olds that he sends out. Like
he wins with a lot of them.
Yeah, like in years past, you can see he won quite a few of the TTA Futurities, it seems like. Ritza Fina, let me have this horse on top. Number 8, Into Sense, that's going to be my second choice. Making that second start, I like that this horse does have a start underneath her belt. Was 6 last time out, but I think this horse is only going to improve. And then give me number 4, KK's First Dance is my third choice. It's had 2 tries to break that maiden so far, has failed to do so. Beaten by 6 1/4, 9.5 in those 2 races. Hopefully this horse can be back up closer, see if they likes the added distance from those sprints last time out, going to the turf. Let's see what happens. Let's roll the dice and go 10, 8, and 4 here.
Yeah, Cindy Loper, who, by the way, is an awesome name, won that race that KK's First Dance was in last time, and she won it nicely. And, you know, this filly showed speed, showed improvement off her first race, but, you know, she might be able to go 2 turns. I think that's a pretty good pick. I didn't work her into the picks only because I put Danny Pish's filly in here, number 7, Wanna Rock. Last year, Rick Lee pointed out Danny Pish wins an unusual amount of these first stretch-out turf races. I think it has something to do with how he conditions horses. He gets a lot of foundation in them. And sure enough, last year he won with at least one of them. And Wanna Rock, I mean, her first race was awful, but she can improve off that, and she's trained by Pish, and who knows, maybe she doesn't really want to sprint. Anyway, and I used Pish third in the other turf race too. Number 9, American Taylor. Justin Johnson brings this horse over from Louisiana, which, number 1, I think is interesting. You ship a horse over here, ship a filly over here for the last day of the meet. So he obviously, I'd say obviously, he probably thinks she's suited for the turf, number 1, and that she's going really well. Like your top pick, my second pick, Ritza Fina, really good works, really good background to works. Rock Your World, the sire of American Taylor, is a first-crop sire. So is Lexitonian, the sire of your filly. So we really don't know what kind of sires they're going to be. But Rock Your World won the Santa Anita Derby, won his first 3 starts. He was a dirt horse for John Sadler. He was very good. American Princess, the dam was unraced. But what's fascinating about American Taylor is... Actually, no, not American Taylor. I'm going to talk about Ritza Fina in a second. What I like about American Taylor is there's precociousness in the pedigree. It's not necessarily a lot of turf in the pedigree. In fact, it's a low Tomlinson number. I just think she's ready, and I like the fact they shipped her. As far as your top pick, Ritza Fina, Lexitonian was a really good Grade 1 winning sprinter. The dam, Ritz and Glitz, was really nothing special, but Ritza Fina's great-grandmother, her third dam, in horse parlance, was one of the greatest mares to ever race. A mare named Dahlia, who's in the Hall of Fame. She was a 1974 grass champion. She won major races in 5 different countries, 3 in Europe, Canada, and the U.S. She was trained over here by Charlie Whittingham, who, of course, was the master in the 70s and 80s of all these global superstars. Dahlia is Ritza Fina's great-grandmother. Now, and she was wonderful on the turf, obviously. I don't know if that can translate, but that's real racing immortality right there in the high-up pedigree of Ritza Fina. It's got me so excited, I wish I had kind of picked her on top.
I know those 2-year-old races are going to be fun today.
They are. They really are. On to the 6th. Scratch the 11, I'm a Cowboy. Scratch the 12, Nick's Story. who's been a favorite of mine this meet. And scratch the 13, Louis Bear, 11, 12, 13 out of the 6th. $5,000 claimers sprinting, 6 furlongs.
Yeah, so my top choice was one of those scratches. So, I'm on Baseball Politics now. That's number 3 here. This horse has been claimed a couple times within the last few months. J.R. Caldwell's had this horse for 1 start. It wasn't the best start at all for Baseball Politics. I mean, finished 9 of 9 in that one. Had some trouble in that race. It was on the turf. Now he's going back to the dirt, sprinting. The 2 races before that clunker he threw out were both pretty decent. Had a win and a second-place finish. That second coming right here at Lone Star Park. The win was at Oaklawn back in April. So fairly recent races that this horse has run well in. Just count out that last one. I think Baseball Politics can get it done. Algebra, number 2. I got to go give this guy some love, man. I thought that Algebra was, when I saw him earlier this year in his first start, or one of those starts earlier this year, I was like, Algebra, this horse was good back in the day, but, I think he might have seen better days. But you know what? This horse has come on and won, raced 2 starts back, finished 3rd last time out. I mean, this is a horse that loves it out here at Lone Star Park. It's going to be his 24th start, has 7 wins, a bunch of thirds, a couple seconds as well. Does well at this 6 furlong distance, 5 wins out of 16 starts. It is down here for 62.50 today, so it should be a easier spot than last time where the horse ran 3rd. And then I got number 5, Edelman, as my 3rd choice here. A winner 2 starts back. That was at Turf Paradise. Came here last time, went 5 furlongs on the turf, finished 5th in that one, putting it back on the main track today. We'll see if this horse can't get up there for a little bit of some of the money. 3-2-5 in race 6.
Yeah, I scratch into Immelman, the 5. I had Nick Story on top originally. Immelman's an interesting story because with a different barn, he was kind of, I wouldn't say mired in turf races. He was out in Southern California, but he's 1 for 10 on the turf. He's 2 for 12 on the dirt. He's running a few of those 1,000-yard mixed races at Los Al with quarter horses. He was repeatedly, though, overmatched out in Southern California. You see a whole host of races where he was 30-1 and up. The rare times they did run him where he belonged, he usually fared pretty well. Now he's with a different barn. He's with Diodoro. Like with Baseball Politics, it's pretty easy to overlook their last races because they were both turf sprints. Both these guys appear to be much more adept at dirt sprinting. So I'm going to go with Immelman, who had a really nice race at Turf Paradise a couple of months ago, 2 races back. Hasn't been on this main track before, but he's trained over it. Baseball Politics, I went and watched his race last time. He just dropped straight out of it. He broke fine, but I got to think he didn't care much for the turf, or he didn't care for being inside or something, because he absolutely dropped straight back. I didn't see a lot of trouble either, but it's easy to throw that race out and look at his dirt form, and his wet dirt form is good for that matter, too. On to the 7th. Race 7 has a scratch, a couple of them actually. Number 1, Talkin' Katie will not participate. 9, Skyrocker is also scratched. A mile on turf, unconditioned, $39,000 allowance. This is a good race.
Yeah, what a race this one drew up to be right here. Number 5, Nome Beach. This horse has won back-to-back races, both of them stakes races right here at Lone Star Park. The first one was the Ouija board was supposed to be on the grass, ended up moving to the main track after all that rain that we got on Memorial Day. But followed that back up in the Wasted Tears Stakes, won that race by a neck. That was going around 2 turns on the turf. Nome Beach, I think this is a very solid horse. I like how this horse has been moving out here. I think this is the one to beat, but very tough race here. Number 4, Looking for Bargains, is going to be my second choice. Has won 3 out of the last 4 races. Most recent one, 7.5 furlongs right here on the turf. Did well in that one. If you look, this horse seems to love the grass. 4 starts, has hit the board in all 4 of those starts, 2 of them being wins. I think the 4 can run well. And then I got number 2, Flame Lagoon, as my third choice. This was a horse that was also in the Ouija board and the Wasted Tears, just like Nome Beach. This was the runner-up in the Ouija board. Last time out was the 4th place runner in the Wasted Tears Stakes, but was only beaten by 3 1/4 or 3 3/4 in that one. I don't think that was too bad for that stakes race, but I think this horse is going to run well today. Overall turf record's pretty good. 4 wins out of 12 starts. I like it, Flame Magoon. I got a 5, 4, and 2 here in race number 7.
She could sit a pretty good trip, Flame Magoon. She's forwardly placed usually, but has enough speed to stay up in it, and yet sometimes finishes quite well, too. As far as looking for bargains, I've been on her bandwagon all along. I mean, she debuted for Chad Brown back a couple of years ago, was running in turf races in the East, and down in Florida, ran very well, had a long layoff, 13 months, has run well here. She seemed to really like the turf last time. She had to deal with a lot of front-end pressure and still held. She may have to deal with that kind of front-end pressure again today with the likes of I'm a Lucky Charm in there. But Neon Beach, to me, even if this race had come off the turf, which it's on the turf, but even if it hadn't, I mean, her Ouija board race was absolutely dominant. She definitely loves the turf. And I threw the Mexican filly in here, Super Yvonne, bred in Kentucky, raced in Mexico. She's a group or graded winner in Mexico. She's won 12 races, and she gets Lasix today. Now, she's been on Lasix before, so it's not a big deal. But nonetheless, Super Yvonne, she was scratched on Turf Festival Day from a race. I'm just curious to see how she runs. Race 8, Texas-bred maidens. Maiden special weights, 3 and up. Scratch number 5, Tiger Man McCool, 6.5 furlongs.
Yeah, I went with number 6, Obvious Conclusion. This horse has been out to the races 20 times and hadn't picked up a win yet. Does have a handful of seconds and thirds, so the horse has hit the board in half of his starts. What I like about this one, very consistent in the last few races. Second. Right, so hopefully this is the time for Obvious Conclusion to graduate. I got the horse on top here. Curly's One Thing, the number 2 horse, is going to be my second choice. Kind of like Obvious Conclusion, this horse has had some pretty decent races in the near recent past. Down at Sam Houston in April, was a runner-up, missed by 3/4. Had a couple good races out here so far this meet, running third in both of them. And then number 7, He's Charming. That's going to be my third choice. Coming in here off a second-place finish last time out. Granted, the horse was in for a tag that day, $7,500, and is going to this straight maiden race, which is going to be a little bit more tough. But, I think this horse is good enough to get up, and he's been running with some of these before. I think this horse can do all right.
I like him. I picked against Curly's One Thing at least twice. I think I picked him on May 2nd. He's been 7-5 even money and 6-5. Curly's One Thing has each of his last 3 starts, meaning he was pretty much considered, if not a lock, then certainly a really good chance to win, and he just seems to come up with ways not to. So I'm going to try to beat him. I took He's Charming only because I don't know if Beyer figs mean a whole lot in this particular race, and he doesn't have the Beyers to compete. But I love the way he rallied last time. He rallied really well. You can see that in the PPs. He was 9th, 4 lengths back by the furlong pole. He was second, only a length back, and he made a big sweeping move, flattened out a little bit. Red 47, who came back and laid an egg yesterday, did win that race nicely. This bunch, they could take turns beating each other, so I'm going to go with him based strictly on that full-of-run rally last time, and today he has blinkers. So he might be forwardly placed more so than last time. I Have Too Much Air, goes turf to dirt, goes from route to sprint. Not really a sprinter, but this is a longer sprint, so I took him second. 9th race. This is the high 5 race. There is a carryover of 13,348 that has to be distributed today. The entire net pool has to go. 9th race, a mile on the grass. Scratch the 6, Sweet Tap and Morrow. The 13, Crazy Ridge, will compete. These are Texas-bred allowance types, first-level allowance.
So I'm going to end the meet with a bomb here. Number 5, Texas Creed, 10-1 morning line on Texas Creed. This horse has had a pretty good meet out here as well. Finished second once, finished third, just missing by a neck in another race. Had a 4th in the most recent race. That 1-2 starts back, that was that third-place finish, missing just by a neck. That was on the turf, so I like that the horse has some turf experience. If you look has been on the turf 3 times, finished in the money all 3 times. Same thing with Lone Star Park, finished in the money 4 of 5 times. Doesn't have that win yet, but a couple seconds and a couple thirds. Hopefully Texas Creed can get up there full of run today. We'll see if this horse can get it done with some decent odds. Number 8, Mr. Jaws. That's going to be my second choice here. Back-to-back wins. You know I love horses that are winning. 3 starts back, a close-up second, so it could have been 3 wins in a row, all of them right here at Lone Star Park. That most recent one came at this distance on the grass course. You got to like those things. And then I got number 9, Stirring Up Dust, as my third choice here. Coming in here off a win, 15-1 is the morning line. Whenever I see a Steve Asmussen horse 15-1, that's got to go in the pick somewhere. This horse is going to finish in the top 3.
Yeah, either yesterday or the day before, I picked an Asmussen that was like 20-1 on the line, went off at about 12, didn't run much. But, yeah, I agree very much with the philosophy. Texas Creed, your top pick, is very intriguing. I used him third. He's got a lot of speed. I don't know if he's ever been 2 turns. It's possible he has. I only go 12 races back in my PPs, and he's run 16 times. I think it's highly likely that he has just sprinted in his career. But, I mean, if there's a 2-turn race back there somewhere, I'd have to research it. But, boy, he's fast, and he's going to be forwardly placed. He's pretty interesting. But Mr. Jaws got an absolutely perfect trip last time. Really responded to the different barn, ran well on the turf. It was his first win in 4 tries on the grass. He's sharp, so I'm going to stick with Mr. Jaws. Adger is a closer, but he should have pace to run at. It looks like there's a decent pace possibly going to set up in this race. There's some horses, especially Texas Creed, coming out of sprints who should be fast. Summer Help is pretty fast as well and stretching out. So Adger could be a threat in here. Heats Hero, usually, against maidens at least, gave a good account of himself. I wouldn't take 7-2 on Heats Hero after just beating maidens, but the last race is interesting.
High five. Good race for the high five.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of different ways you can go to try to take home that jackpot today. Right?
13,348 in the carryover, and it has to be distributed. Same thing with the pick 5. No carryover after today. And don't forget the gift shop. We mentioned it at the top of the show. End of the meat sale. It wraps up today just like the meat does. So head over to the First Floor Corral gift shop. 20% off on many items. So enjoy that. And we will hope for the best today.
That's right.
Thanks as always for sharing our stage.
It's been fun. I guess we'll do it again in September, right?
Yep. We'll back in early September with the quarter horse meeting. Until then, enjoy your day today. 30 minutes to post for race 1. Good luck. In the event of an emergency, Lone Star Park is dedicated to ensuring the safety of our patrons. This video illustrates the proper evacuation protocol from all public locations in the Lone Star Park Grandstand facility. Depending on the nature of the emergency, directions may be altered. Please remain calm and follow the direction of Lone Star Park employees and security personnel. Patrons should never use elevators during an evacuation. Suite levels 5 and 6 have 3 stairwells that patrons should use to exit the building. 2 stairwells on either far